Welcome to the Throwdown. For all of you, 11-minute AMRAP, 8 2-dumbbell box step-ups at 50 and 35, and then it'll be 1 strict handstand push-up plus 1 kipping handstand push-up. You'll go back 8 box step-ups, and then 2 plus 2, 8 3 plus 3, 8 4 plus 4, so on and so forth until you reach the 11-minute mark.
Training Think Tank Throwdown 21.
Good.
You're too
I
tight.
feel like he's like closer to the camera now. You trying to exit me out of this thing, huh? It's slowly but surely. Next week I'm gonna be over here. I'm Brandon Dorman.
I'm Max 𝐒𝐲𝐜.
If you're new to this series, this is where we announce a workout and invite all of you to do it with our Training Think Tank community.
We provide a demo, some strategy, some tips. This week, 𝐒𝐩𝐞𝐜 𝐏, our coach, is our demo, so let's watch that.
3, 2, 1, go!
All right, and we've begun. So this is the last workout that we're gonna write as part of the Throwdown series. The next 5 are all gonna be the CrossFit Open workouts on this show, and then we'll come back to us writing the workouts. Our demo here is one of our coaches, 𝐒𝐞𝐜. She's about 5'10". She's a bigger athlete in the sport. Gymnastics are her major priority, so that is why we thought she'd be a good demo to show this workout.
Did you see how easy those step-ups were?
Oh, God, no. I keep telling her she just went to do a kipping first.
𝐒𝐞𝐜.
Yeah, I actually did that. Yeah. I tell her that she's always doing scaled workouts when she does box step-ups because we're the same height. I'm like, this is so unfair.
Yeah, they're a lot faster than yours. Look at the side-by-side there.
I don't like that. It's like watching this big ogre try to figure out how to be rhythmic.
Look at her technique. This is awesome. Obviously, you have to alternate legs, but she alternates the one that's going down, and then as soon as the other leg touches the ground, she brings it back up, which is really efficient.
Yeah, it actually does save an enormous amount of time if you can have that type of rhythm and not spend time on the bottom of the floor.
Yeah.
I know as I was watching people that I was relatively close to in terms of like overall score, that people were just losing time because they're coming off the box, holding it there, taking a couple steps back so they can get momentum and going forward. But if you can find a structure where you do this and just go down, touch, back up, it saves you a lot of time where you can get through this and just build a couple extra rest seconds before you start your handstand push-ups.
For the shorter athletes, you may not be able to do this. Your foot may hit, so you may have to step away a little bit. But what I would recommend is when you step off the box, try to just step a little bit farther back so you don't have to move your feet around on the bottom of or on the floor, I guess I should say.
Yeah. So 𝐒𝐞𝐜 here, she's pretty soundly over that line with that standard, and you can see like she's pausing at the top pretty deliberately for a full second, and she told me she's waiting for Ryan's good count to give her a score. So, that's kind of a realistic thing that you got to take into consideration. If something like this comes out in the open, you want to make sure that you talk to your judge ahead of time and make sure that they're giving you the counts that you want. I know when I was judging for David in the next heat, I was trying to give him a count, and sometimes he would get a no rep and he would go down before I said no rep, and then you have to do another handstand push-up.
Yeah.
But if you're at the top and your heels aren't over and your judge just hasn't said anything yet, and you can tighten your feet and straighten your body line, you get over and you get the rep.
Right.
So it's kind of a weird movement that you can just hang out on your hands to adjust to meet the standard.
Big picture is you need to practice this ahead of time, and this should be in everyone's training at least every 3 or 4 weeks, just coming up on a qualifier or the open, so you know what it feels like. A couple other things that you can do: slide your hands in 1/2 inch on each side.
Yeah.
That will give you an inch up on your feet, or slide them closer to the wall. That's what I had some of my athletes do, especially those that already have good body lines where they're not like broken at the hip.
Yeah.
Their butt still won't touch the wall, but being closer allows you to get over that line a little easier.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is like maybe you don't need to do Metcons with this standard, but you could always practice in either your strength work or your warm-ups, just doing them with a different body line. Like tighten your body line all the way up, don't allow yourself to arch, keep your body stiff, put your heels together. I think that would transfer to more advanced gymnastic skills if people want to learn to like be really crazy on their hands and do handstand obstacles and that type of stuff. But then if a standard like this comes up, they're not as affected by it.
Yeah. One of the things that I do is just like some wall facing holds and then face away from the wall and keep working on hand position so that no matter where I'm at against the wall, I'm able to get my feet over a line.
Yeah, you can see Mia's body line when she gets up to the top is pretty tight. I mean, she's got a little bit of that hip flexion, butt back towards the wall that has been notorious for some people not being able to get over the line, but really she's pretty straight. That is really hard to maintain when you start to get really out of breath or you're starting to do a lot of stuff like the step overs that are kind of just bending your torso over. So that just might be something that you want to practice and be aware of, that as you're getting tired in these later rounds, the workout actually becomes all about handstand push-ups, and it becomes harder and harder to meet the handstand push-up standard because your midline is just getting, weak, and, it's being used for respiration as opposed to spinal stability. And then we're back to the step-ups.
Yeah, they still look good. She really didn't struggle with these at all throughout the workout. But, I mean, by this point, you get into round 5, they start to become a grind. I mean, that's 40 box step-ups in less than 5 minutes at that point.
Yeah. I found for me, and then chatting with Travis afterwards as well, that the biggest issue with the step-ups was the impact it had on my upper traps and upper back, and then that made the just stabilizing for the pressing more difficult. It wasn't necessarily that my press gave out in the same way that it would if my normal, if handstand push-ups was paired with double unders or something like that, but because my hands were holding on and preventing me from getting pulled down, that made it harder to just stabilize and want to be upside down on my hands. So that's something to take into consideration. Maybe for some people, when you set up your strategy, you kind of go through some sort of sprint series on the first couple dumbbells step ups, and then as you get close to the end, maybe go to a 5-3 or a 4-4. Just take a quick break, shake your arms out, and just make sure that you don't get to that type of failure position with your upper back.
Yeah. If you do go 4-4 or 5-3, I think just like anything, keeping a linear rest break across all rounds makes the most sense. Don't let it get away from you. I had somebody that broke and they were great the first 3 or 4 rounds, and then it started going 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you waste a lot of time when they didn't need that rest break.
Yeah, I feel like in this workout specifically, the dumbbell step overs or step ups, you can be super disciplined with.
Yes.
When you get to failure in handstand push-ups, it's kind of just it's just a crappy feeling. There's nothing you can do. You can try your hardest, I'm gonna fight, and you go to press and you just feel like you can't push your body up. But with the dumbbell step up, most likely people are not gonna be failing that movement. So it's gonna be a matter of just managing discomfort.
Right.
So if that's the case, all right, there's a part of this workout that you gotta be tough to give yourself the most time. I would say that it'd be in the dumbbell step ups. And then here, this is just about managing whatever your limits are. So you could see Mia taking her rest here. She probably has to. If she did this as an open workout, she went and video reviewed, maybe she'd take some of these rest breaks down by 2 seconds or by a second. But if you push the pace a little bit too much there and then you get to failure, you could ruin the rest of your workout,
If you notice, when she went from strict to kipping, she just slightly moved her hands. I think that's a good idea if you're used to having 2 different hand placements. Obviously, ideally, you would have the same hand placement for both in a workout like this, but she shifted her hands around. Obviously, Ryan just told her to make sure her palm doesn't hit, but that's a great adjustment, and that's something, again, in training that you should be playing around with. Can I move my hands? Make sure that you have lines marked so that you're not going outside of that, and then all of a sudden you get into a qualifier and you're like, wow, this is really narrow if you're not used to it.
Yeah. I found for myself with the handstand push-ups, the strict, in order to meet the standard and not have to keep my feet super close together, I would get a little bit closer to the wall, and then just subconsciously I left my hand position, or I was doing the sets unbroken, and then when I tried to kip, because my hands were close to the wall, I'd kip myself off the wall. So for people that might have bodyline issues upside down like I do, you might want to think closer to the wall for strict, since there's going to be less momentum that would deviate you away. And then for kipping, you might be able to come back a little bit. It's also easier to adjust your body line with kipping because there's just less overall press that deviates your spine. You just kind of press out, explode, tighten everything up at the top, and then you can kind of just,
Should be less time under tension because you are exploding out of the bottom.
Yeah.
So the last round was the first round that she broke. Obviously now she's going to failure.
And now she has a failure up, So I'd be curious. So I think that was around 8:27, how long it takes after failure to kick back up on the wall.
This is a good lesson, And I mean, everyone's a little bit different, but if you go to failure, it just takes so long to recover with things like handstand push-ups. So you gotta be careful.
You know, that's 18 seconds that she had to go. She recovered to do, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's
double,
good.
triple, wow. That's pretty good recovery. I know for myself, if I get to failure, I'm almost guaranteed to be at singles at that point, unless I take a full minute rest.
She's really worked hard on this, and she's done a lot of work under fatigue too, so that's definitely paying off for her.
Yeah, she was pretty solid on this.
You see the breaks are getting a little bit longer. I mean, they're going to for everyone on strict handstand push-ups, but I would know that that's going to happen. They're going to feel easy at first, and at some point they're going to start going to failure. Come up with a game plan before the workout starts of, okay, am I going to go to doubles? Am I going to go to triples? Am I doing fast singles? And then make sure you stick to that.
Yeah, and then you also realize you could be at failure. This is kind of an interesting workout construction from Mike. You can go to failure on strict handstand push-ups. Then once you get through them, then you can start to work fast again because your kipping's not limited. So you gotta almost be ready for this cycle of like fast aggressive work, then back to the wall and kind of just managing your rest. Then fast aggressive work, and you're kind of going in and out of that state of aggression where you're not really limited by anything other than potential like discomfort and fatigue for two of the movements, and then the strict handstand push-ups are the big bottleneck, which most people probably won't hit until somewhere between 6 and 9 minutes in this workout. I'm sure everybody will get to it. I don't know if anybody would just like slam through that unbroken, because when you get to the 8s and 8s or 9s and 9s, you're talking about a lot of handstand push-ups.
They add up quick once you get probably through the round of 4 and 5. I mean, you're already doing 10 total in the round of 5.
Yeah,
and look like that.
And a lot of step-ups, which means a lot of traps and upper back, and there's just a lot of overall stress in the workout.
Yeah. So going back to the step-ups, you'll notice, if you can rewind this even if you want, the way she was holding them, it probably only works if you're a little bit taller and you're not going to hit the box with dumbbells, but she was rolling them forward, and then basically the meat of her palm was catching the head of the dumbbell, so it was less grip intensive. I think that's pretty wise for those that can do that.
So here's the final push.
I like it. I mean, she's doing singles.
Yeah.
And no on the last one. Great job, Mia.
Good work. That's a demo. Let's go see some scores. All right, just watch Mia go. She was third place on site, 148. Top score was Allie at 185 and Colson at 165. On the male side, Trav had 199 reps. Jeremiah came in late, and he got 1.5 place, which is really our second place at 187. Tyler was third best score with 143.
All right, let's break down Throwdown 21. This workout has 2 movements, and the first one's box step-ups. We have one standard where you have to face the box this week, so there's no really technical cues as far as like trying to find the most efficient way, but there are a couple things that you can think about before the workout. The first one is practice the distance away from the box. We had some people that were hitting the box with their leg that they were stepping up with, so play around with how far away from the box you need to be to make sure you don't hit it. A couple technical things that you can do. One is swinging the dumbbells through as you go, so grabbing on a dumbbell, swinging them up about hip height, and then getting onto the box so that you're not having to step really hard with that second foot. And then the other one would be, what I like, is a little torso lean. So keeping your arms straight so your grip doesn't blow up as much. Lean hard with your torso as you step up, and that gives you a little bit of momentum to get on top of the box. The last thing, I think, is making sure that your footwork is sound at the bottom. So a lot of people were stepping off and then moving all over the place. Step down, touch your foot to the ground, and try to get back to the box as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so that's the box step-ups. For the handstand push-ups, I feel like all this is really about the standard. And most people train their handstand push-up standard just normally you kick up to a wall and you go and you press out and you press up. When this workout standard came up in the Open in 2017, it caused a lot of problems, and a lot of people had a lot of missed no reps, which is why we put it into the workout. I think when you're doing this, you have to just understand that the rhythm of your handstand push-ups are going to be a little bit different, because you're not going to be 100% sure if your heels are above the line, which means you have to pause a little bit longer at the top of each rep. You got to make sure that your body line's tight. You got to dorsiflex your feet or pull your toes down towards you to make sure that your heels are a little bit higher. And all of that stuff will just make it a little bit more difficult to stay on your hands for a longer period of time than a normal rhythm of handstand push-ups. So just be prepared to be on your hands for a little bit longer. Be prepared to just do a little bit of different things with your body to make sure that you're meeting the standard, and practice meeting the standard, even if that means a little bit less total reps. I think this is an opportunity for us. This is the last workout before the Open. This is an opportunity for you to practice differing standards with your movements to make sure that you can race in a competitive setting doing something you haven't practiced that frequently.
Yeah, when you're thinking about pacing for this workout, the structure's pretty cool. It's really heavy box step-ups at the beginning of the workout. Really, the first 4 rounds happen fast. So that's 32 box step-ups in the first couple of minutes. And then it kind of flips where there's less box step-ups just because it takes longer on the wall and more handstand push-ups. So keep in mind, especially if you're bad at handstand push-ups, start fast in the box step-ups and know that there's gonna be a point in the workout where you're gonna have to chip away no matter what. So bank some time there. And if you're good at handstand push-ups, make sure that you're crushing the box step-ups so you can get back to the wall as fast as possible and you can go fast on broken sets there.
Yep, so that's our last throwdown that we're writing for the next 5 weeks. Next week, you'll see us with open workout 20.1, and then the next 5 after that, or the next 4 after that, will be the 5 open workouts. We hope to see you there. You can go to trainingthinktank.com, check out the design, classroom, one-on-one coaching, or apparel.
And the
Thanks
blog,
again.
motherfucker.
Yeah, and the blog, motherfucker.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button. Let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.